Hello friends, welcome to my channel Creating Essence. I am Megan. Thank you so much for stopping by today. We are going to have a little homestead update for the month of June. You can't tell by the lens repeatedly fogging up. It's hot lately and just a little bit humid too. So it is the end of June. It's actually July 1st now. So I wanted to update you all on what's been growing in the month of June. Let's start with the chickens. Our chicken tractor has been awesome. The chickens are getting so big. Aren't you girls? Yes. They were hatched about the first week of April, so they're about 3 months old now. Hello. Goodness, that foggy lens again. Hopefully we'll be getting eggs in the next 2 to 3 months. Okay, go on. In case you're new here, these are our 20 black sex link pullets that we got back in April. Hi. We built this chicken tractor. I'll put a link in the iCards. It has been awesome. Now I told you in the video about how I put in that roosting bar there on the bottom, like Jake and Becky over at White House on the Hill had done. But theirs was a bit higher and our chickens wouldn't really use it. They would lay in the grass over there, but we decided to give them a taller roosting bar and one that was the full length, and in less than an hour from putting it in, they were all roosting on it. So the girls are loving it. Oh, hello. Hi. The girls are loving it and they're growing so big. Eating a lot of kitchen scraps. Once a day they do get grain from a local granary. It is soy-free, unmedicated, organic. Hey. But most of what they eat is grass, bugs, and kitchen scraps. Next up is the earth garden. I've been posting garden hauls on my Instagram. If you follow me there, you've seen those. The link to my Instagram is always in the info box below. Right now we're kind of in a lull between the early crops and the full-on summer garden. And my last video about the garden was about how unsuccessful it really was. We've done a lot since then, a lot of work, and we are getting some growth and hopefully some productivity soon. But it's not what it has been in years past, for sure. By now we were getting a lot already, and right now we're just kind of getting herbs every day for meals as needed. But I'll show you what I mean. So here's a picture of the whole thing. As you can see, this is quite an improvement, though I'm not really sure how much we're going to get from things. For example, these are the Brussels sprouts right here, 2 down there. I put those in the end of March and they're still just kind of hanging out like this. They're alive. I don't know if we're going to get anything from them. Our oreganos, this one had almost completely died because of root rot, and it is trying to come back, but it's also immediately going to seed. This is one of the 2 cucumber plants of 8 planted that actually grew. The rest I planted repeatedly and they all rotted. But we're starting to get cucumbers, but some of them are just dying really early. Here's one guy growing. Got some tiny ones in there. We've been enjoying a little bit of Swiss chard and kale regularly. Our nasturtium by now is usually a huge bush producing tons of flowers, and we've got this and this out of 12 planted that are just trying to live. We filled in that spot where neither nasturtium nor cucumber grew with a marigold, just for fun. We've got some marigold filling in spots where things died all over, because why not? This is a cabbage, that's a cabbage, that's a cabbage. I planted these all at the same time back in April. Like, they've just kind of been living. They haven't really been growing, just living. I do have more cucumber action going on over here. Some kale. Our radishes that were in here pretty much bolted because they went in so late that the heat was too much for them. All through here, I've planted 4 different things, each different seedings. Every single one has died, but I did fill in some space with some marigolds. So there's another cabbage. In case you couldn't tell, all of this had all been cabbage seedlings, and I eventually sprinkled in some kale seeds, just direct sown, and this is what came up. So it's something. All through here, we had Brussels sprouts initially, and then I planted peas. Nothing. It all died, so I wood chipped it. This is broccoli. These were planted in April. They still have not produced anything. We've got some little pest issues going on, but it's not killing them. It's just making things holy, treating it by natural means and with neem oil. And this one, I don't know if you can see the worms there. They just want to kill this one in particular, and they seem to be immune to all my remedies, so maybe this one is lost. These were both tomatoes that didn't make it, so now they're marigolds that are turning brown. In here was spinach, and I sowed it 2 different times, some seedlings, some actual seeds direct sown. The seedlings bolted immediately and died before they even made seed, and the seeds never did anything. But I did put in our calendula seeds finally on like the 3rd planting of this strip, and the calendula is happy now. Yay for calendula. I had staggered tomatoes and basil all down through this row. We do have basil, most of the basil doing pretty well. The tomatoes are mostly doing well now. It's interesting to see how much they vary, because we have some like these that are almost 5-foot tall bushes that were planted the exact same time and same way as this one, struggling to be 2 feet tall. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but they're growing and I am grateful. This was a whole long row of peppers. They died. So we went and bought seedlings from Home Depot. And they, I guess we planted them late enough that they did struggle quite a bit, but they've grown. I planted marigolds in between each of the pepper plants 3 times. 3 times. Not once did they grow. And it wasn't the seeds, because the seeds sprouted. But they didn't grow. So these are more of those marigold seedlings. So we've got all different kinds of peppers in here, different bell peppers. And once again, I mean, this is up halfway up my thigh, was the same size, same seeding, planted the same time as this guy, who's not even halfway up to my knee. Oh, and this guy too, even shorter. We are growing. We're doing a little bit of struggling, but we're growing. And now we have our beans. I planted these in our last video. They germinated and came up really fast and have done amazing. So that is exciting. We have 1.5 rows about of provider bush beans, and then starting about halfway down this row, up here and down here, so about 1 complete row. Royal Burgundies, because they are purple. And my youngest daughter loves purple. These are potatoes, our total trial. We've had some die off, but it was clear that they had snapped despite the mulching. So it's not that they were ready. So we'll see what we actually get from them, but they were a total trial, and we've never done them before, so I don't know what to expect. Oh, you are a massive tomato hornworm, and my chickens will love you. These are actually 4 volunteer tomato plants that have grown up from our compost that we dumped here. And I'm hard up for tomatoes, so I'll take it. I put cages on them. In here, along the fence here, originally we planted pole beans and sunflowers. I did that back in April. Not one thing of the sunflowers, and that right there is the one pole bean that came up. I then planted tomato seedlings from about here down. Not one survived. They all rotted. So now we have marigolds. Marigolds all the way down. I feel like this is a whole lot of wasted space because this is not usually how I garden. But this is my garden this year. This is one of our rosemary seedlings that we started from seed. And it's growing slow, but it is absolutely living and growing. I decided to attempt a second crop of cucumbers. So it's nasturtium cucumber, nasturtium, cucumber, nasturtium, cucumber, nasturtium. They're growing slowly, but they're growing, and I am grateful for growth. And I walked right by these. This right here was a whole row here of cilantro. We do have some coming up. It's in there. It's sparse. There's big chunks where everything rotted, but it's there. It's growing. And here we have zinnia. Now, this one, and this one are Raphaela's purple zinnia. I planted this entire little row right here of purple zinnia, and those 3 are the only ones that survived. These that we just put in about 2 weeks ago are our seeds from the zinnia we had last year that we saved. I told the little boys I wasn't sure if they were going to live, so I said just crumple them up and cover them with some dirt. And they're doing pretty well. And now we shall see how my chickens like this.
What are you feeding them?
A tomato hornworm. Hey girls, I have a treat for you. It squirted green nastiness all over me. Hey girls. No! They're fighting over it. Hey chicken.
There's one right here.
Go inside. Go get back in there. I see you. Oh, she's fast.
Sally, go around the other way.
Rosie. Open the door. Open the door. Oh. They're still fighting over the hornworm. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Is that Ann?
No, Ann's the one back there that has the hornworm. Covered with hornworm juice. So that is the earth garden for now. I am working on getting seedlings started for the fall garden. I really need a robust fall garden. And if these things along here don't start making some obvious strides toward doing something, then I will probably just pull them up to make space, toss them to the chickens. They love them. And we have this raised bed that I put carrots into. We've got some coming up. We'll see if it does much. This was just kind of sitting vacant. This had daikon in it initially, and then I put in a thyme seedling that we started from seed, and it's done amazing. These are our lavenders. This is a potted lavender from last year that clearly needs to be weeded, but it has come back, and I want to find a permanent place for it. And now for the little permaculture orchard area. The peach is getting huge. It needs to be pruned badly this year. So I need to research how to do that because I have no idea. These are our 2 cotton seedlings. They struggled for a while. I thought we were going to lose them to root rot, but they're doing well. This is our little area of poppies. They did well. They gave us a few buds, one every few days for about a month. And now I think they're just done growing for the year. This is one of our varieties of elderberry. We got a whole bunch of blossoms and they smell like lilac. I don't know if you knew that. I didn't know that. And now it seems we're getting a second one off of a new one. Getting more heads of blossoms and things. I don't know if that's how it normally works. So our parsley we've been using all along. One of our apples. The Japanese beetles are having a great time. It doesn't want to focus. There we go. I don't think they'll kill it, but they're making its leaves sad. We have garlic chives in here, and this is another variety of elderberry doing the same thing. It put on tons of crowns of blossoms, and now it's growing berries and more blossoms, which is so cool. And then we have our dill forest, which is really cool. We look forward to this every year because of all the black swallowtail butterfly babies we get on it. Hope my camera will focus there. Hey guy, maybe if I go on the other side. We get tons all through here, and they usually decimate our dill, but expecting that, I planted exponentially more this year. Same story with this apple, except this. I don't know what this is. I gotta figure it out. I'm a total tree noob. So, if you know what this is, I mean, I know we had some cedar rust. Is this what it looks like when it's really bad? I don't even know. I know this is Japanese beetle damage. This is not. There we go. Hi, Guy. You eating some dill? Yeah. There we go. Hi. Gonna be a beautiful butterfly if the birds don't eat ya. So this whole patch here is doing really well as far as our expectations and what was going on at the beginning of the month. And now onward to the blueberry patch. Our birds have really sweetly been taking all of our blueberries. We had lots of them in here. And as soon as they weren't green, so they stood out from the leaves, the birds grabbed them. We'll figure out something for next year. The rosemary is struggling a bit, but we've been enjoying plenty of rosemary from them. We'll see if they live. I kind of wanted them to be perennials here. But more blueberries, and then these are both sage. We started this from seed. Really pleased with how well it's done. Another blueberry, and this is thyme that we started from seed. And this is our blueberry that we thought was dead. We had given it up for dead, and then suddenly it started growing. I'll take it. Then we have Asher's tiny lilac with tons of pinwheels because the kids love those. Pretty much anytime they see pinwheels in the Target dollar spot or fun little statues, we get them and add them. The more the merrier. This is another yard work project we've been working on. It's a whole huge hedge that is just unusable mess, and our neighbor doesn't want it and we don't want it, and we told our neighbor we'd start working on it, but we got into it and realized we need a chainsaw for that stuff in there. So we're getting a chainsaw, but we don't have one yet. We really would like to continue aside from this spot with the lilac in the middle, which makes it even more special. Just continue the line of blueberries all the way down. As So we need to get this out of here. This is where our garlic was. It is completely gone and harvested. It was a great harvest as far as I know about garlic harvest. And now I've put down another layer of grass clippings, letting them kind of break down a bit, and then I'll add wood chips to the top of it, and we just will let it rest until October when we will plant garlic for next year again. These are the honey oil strawberries. We got quite a few of them from the, especially considering their first year plants. This is another volunteer tomato. We've just let it grow and given it a cage. But these are doing well, putting off great babies, and hopefully next year it'll be huge and full and robust, just like our sparkles were this year. These are our ever-sweet, ever-bearing. They are just starting to give us some fruit. They're kind of gnarly looking fruit, so it's mostly been for the chickens. But that's fine. Chickens love strawberries too. And they're putting off a great number of babies, very healthy looking. So we are really pleased with how these strawberries that we planted this spring are doing. If you'd like to see how we make these beds, how we do the back to Eden layering, go ahead and check out the link that I'll put up there. Now, I don't know how much I've told you guys about it, but I threw down seeds in between the raspberry plants just to see what would grow, because someone on one of the Back to Eden garden method groups had said they just throw like beet seeds and things of that nature onto the wood chips and then water them to kind of get them to drift down into the wood chips, and they grow great. So I decided to try it, and then I figured while I'm at it and my beet seeds are out, I'll throw down squash and see what they do. Here's what they did. Oh yeah. Now this one, I could tell it just didn't have a deep enough root system in here. Same with that one. And they died. So now I know I just kind of need, if I'm going to do this in the future, I need to dig a bit deeper before putting the seeds in, because they just needed more root and they didn't have enough in the wood chips here. Our raspberries are all doing awesome. They're kind of buried in here. We've got one here, and there, and there, and there. And that's our random lilac. They're all doing awesome. The carrots, I threw down a whole packet, and we have some. So I wouldn't call it a total failure, but the success rate was minimal. The beets were much more successful. They seemed to like this method a bit more. So I may continue doing this with the beets, because I do not grow beets well in the earth garden. So I might just continue this. And we love eating beet greens, so I've been snipping off the biggest leaves every now and then and adding them to salads and smoothies and things. Oh, he's a kookaburra. I know, I escaped from your sweet fluffy clutches. Hi, he's a good boy. He got a bath today with the garden hose. He's so fluffy. Need a brushing, don't you? And that is it for the homestead update. I will show you all when I get the seedlings started for the fall garden. Thank you so much for sticking around today, friends. If you have any questions, please always put them in the comments below. I love to chat with you all. If you have any tips for me, I love hearing those too. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. Bye-bye, friends.